Hey everyone, my name is Drew and welcome to Novelitic. Today we're going to be doing another book haul. So my first set here are books that I either received through giveaways or through book boxes. The first book is my pick for book of the month, and that is Transcendent Kingdom by Ya Gyasi. This wasn't one of this month's picks, but I saw it as like member faves and I've been wanting to read this a little bit more than some of the options. So in this book, we follow Gifty, who is a 6th year PhD candidate in neuroscience at the Stanford University School of Medicine, studying reward-seeking behavior of mice and the neural circuits of depression and addiction. Her brother Nana was a gifted high school athlete who died of a heroin overdose after an ankle injury left him hooked in OxyContin. Her suicidal mother is living in her bed. Gifty is determined to discover the scientific basics for all the suffering she sees all around her. This sounds fascinating. I also know that this also brings in sort of the idea of religion as well, and faith, and it just sounds absolutely it could be heart-wrenching, but also I love the fact that there's basis in science as well. Also, this cover is stunning. The next two books go together, and that is, this book is Anti-Racist, 20 Lessons on How to Wake Up, Take Action, and Do the Work by Tiffany Jewell, as well as the workbook that comes along with it, or the journal that comes along with it. So this was a giveaway through Book Riot, so thank you Book Riot. I am so excited for this. I've had my eye on this, it's been on my wish list, so I can't wait to dive into that. So, this next stack here, these are all some, oh, I had to put that down. These are all some new books that I have acquired. In my last haul, I mentioned how the Barnes & Nobles by me was going out of business, and so my partner and I went back again and we rated. So a lot of these are from Barnes & Noble, but some of them are ones that I picked up along the way. The first one is something I'm totally hyped for, and that is Pet by Akwaeke Emezi. I have heard nothing but great things about this book. It is a sort of sci-fi dystopian middle grade, and it's actually a book club pick for my graduate school book club, so can't wait to get to this. So there are no monsters anymore, or so the children in the city of Lucille are taught. Jam and her best friend Redemption have grown up with this lesson all their lives, but when Jam meets Pet, a creature made of horns and colors and claws, who emerges from one of her mother's paintings and a drop of Jam's blood, she must reconsider what she's been told. I love me a good dystopian, I love me a good middle grade, and LGBTQ+ rap. So the next book I got is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. I have never read this. I actually, I know the musical. I've read Louisa May Alcott's thrillers, but not actually Little Women, which is her most famous work. So in this we follow 4 sisters, Meg, Jo, Beth, and Amy, and it's their coming of age, and I think it particularly follows Jo, and this cover is gorgeous. The next book is Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, and this is I think it's an autobiography memoir of his experience. I was supposed to read this back in my undergrad, and I did read it. I just don't really remember it. So I am, again, excited to dive back in, reread this with a more critical lens. And this one's super cool. It's a cool copy. It has these nice gold edges. The next book I have is Letters to a Young Poet by Rainer Maria Rilke. So I've been told this is a must-read. Again, I got this so cheap, and it's really a short book. I like me an epistolary novel. I know this is more of a memoir, but I'm excited to see what this has in store. The next 2 books, so excited for. One I have read already. I read it through my library and I had to get it, and that is The Empress of Salt and Fortune by Nevo, as well as the other book in that universe, When the Tiger Came Down the Mountain. Favorite book of last year. I absolutely loved it. I had to get my own copy, so I totally did, and now that the second one is out, I I can't wait. But for The Empress of Salt and Fortune, it follows a character who sort of collects stories, and they meet Rabbit, who starts to tell, they were the handmaiden of the Empress, and it sort of talks about their story. Note to self, don't film at noon. So let's try this again. The Empress of Salt and Fortune follows Chi, who is sort of collecting and archiving the events that happened, the histories of this world, and it's based on Imperial China. But super good story, and it talks about sort of the relationship the maiden had with this empress, as well as the story of the empress and her journey from this political marriage to being exiled. In When the Tiger Comes Down the Mountain, I'm not really sure what this one is about, but I do know that it follows Chi, our main character from last time. The cleric Chi finds themselves and their companions at the mercy of a band of fierce tigers who ache with hunger. To stay alive until the mammoths can save them, she must unwind the intricate layered story of the tiger Ho Ti Tao and her scholar lover, a woman of courage, intelligence, and beauty, and discover how truth can survive becoming history. If this is any, I just love Nevo's writing. This will be my second Nevo book, and if this stands up to The Empress of Salt and Fortune, you favorite all. The next book I have, it's a nice little tiny one. It's The Hill We Climb, the inaugural poem of country by Amanda Gorman. This poet is making waves, so I had to get the copy of the inaugural poem, and it has a nice little photo on the back of her when she was reading her poem, and I'm excited to have my own copy. Next is James Baldwin's The Fire Next Time. I read Giovanni's Room in my undergrad, and I really need to read more of James Baldwin. I have Another Country somewhere up here too. So this is specifically talking about the civil rights movement. I believe this is more of a non-fiction as opposed to Giovanni's Room, which was fictional. So I derped and had this in the wrong pile. The Hat Makers by Tamsin Merchant. This I actually got in a Goodreads giveaway, but I'm so excited. I love Tamsin Merchant as an actress. I'm excited to see her writing. So this is a middle grade, and the blurb on the back says, when Cordelia Hatmaker's beloved father fails to return from an ingredient hunting expedition, Cordelia is the only member of the family who knows in her heart that he can't be gone for good. Her grief-stricken aunt and uncle forge ahead to continue the work of their guild and to fulfill a crucial order from the king of the magical peace hat. But the enchantments woven into the carefully crafted goods of the hatmaker, bootmaker, cloakmaker, watchmaker, and glovemaker guilds begin causing sudden inducements of rage and chaos. As war looms and the peace objects backfire, Cordelia must find out who is using the maker's creations for dark purposes and uncover the truth about her father's disappearance. It sounds absolutely whimsical. When I need my whimsy, I will be picking this up. The next is another middle grade, and it is the second book of the Frostbite series, and this is Escape from Aurora by Jamie Littler. I loved Frostheart. It was so good. It follows Ash and his sort of finding his identity and finding his place in this society where, well, he kind of leaves society, but basically he has this song weaving magic that summons these leviathans, these monsters, and it's frowned upon in his village. So he finally goes out on this journey to find his parents, find out more about who he is, and I'm assuming this will pick up right where the last one ended. So I am super excited. I will not be reading the blurb because spoilers, but I am so happy this is in my hands. The next is Ghost Boys by Jewel Parker Rhodes. I actually read this probably, oh my gosh, a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. I read this on my Kindle and absolutely adored it. I wanted to add it to my classroom. So in this book, 12-year-old Jerome is the latest victim shot by a white police officer who mistakes his toy gun for a threat. As a ghost, he observes the devastation that's been unleashed on his family and community in the wake of what they see as an unjust and brutal killing. It was really good when I read it. I want to read it again. And I think it's an important read. It is a middle grade, and I think Jewel Parker Rhodes did a fantastic job of unpacking this particular situation. The next book is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. I love the cover, but I heard that this is sort of like a darkish academia mystery, so I'm about it. So in this, Ellingham Academy is the famous private school in Vermont founded by an early 20th century tycoon for the best and brightest students around. When Ellingham's wife and daughter were kidnapped, the only clue was a mocking riddle listing methods of murder signed with the frightening pseudonym Truly Devious. Their disappearance became one of the greatest unsolved crimes in history. Many years later, true crime aficionado Stevie Bell is set to begin her first year at the academy, and she is determined to solve this cold case. That is, she will solve it when she gets a grip on her demanding new school life and her housemates, the inventor, the novelist, the actor, the artist, and the jokester. But Truly Devious makes a surprise return. Intriguing. Love me a good mystery, and I heard this series is amazing, so let's go. Next book I got is Falas Fair by Hannah Capin. So, Macbeth retelling? Feminist Macbeth retelling? Give it to me. So, this follows Jade, Mads, Jenny, and Summer rule their glittering elbow circle. Untouchable, they have a kind of power people envy. Every party is theirs and the world is at their feet, until the night of Jade's Sweet 16, when they crash a St. Andrew's prep party, the night the Golden Boys choose Jade as their next target. The night they pick the wrong girl. I didn't know that this was about high schoolers. Oops. I think this would be super cool as adult, but we shall see. We'll read this, and let's see how it relates to good old Macbeth. The next I have is Korean Tales, a collection of classic Korean folk tales. So I am currently in the process of, you can't really see my book card over here, but I collect tales from around the world. I am super intrigued by myth and folklore, so I'm working on this project where I'm going through all these different myths and whatnot, and then going through different either modern retellings, and as well as the connections between the different societies and the different sort of histories of these. So, but I didn't have any Korean tales, so needed to pick this one up. Next, I got The Witch Doesn't Burn, and this one by Amanda Lovelace. And I recently read an arc by the same poet and really liked it, and then I saw this, and it wasn't actually $6. I got it for like $2, which was awesome. But I figured I'd pick up another book by Amanda Lovelace, and again, follows poetry, and when I got my arc, it was on my Kindle, and this, like, it's written like in, there's colors, like it's written in red ink. That's interesting. I just like that it has the trigger warnings at the beginning, because those are good to know. But yeah, The Witch Doesn't Burn in this one. I also like the simplicity of their covers. Next, I got The Sun and Her Flowers by Rupi Kaur. So I might have read this, I'm not sure. I remember. Ooh. Pretty. I might have read this a while ago. I don't quite remember, but I saw this edition at Barnes & Noble's, and it was super, like, you know, again, it was super cheap, and I think this is a really nice edition. I do like her poetry. I know that some people don't, but I enjoy, sometimes it's what I need to read. And last of my bought books is the graphic novel Monstrous, Volume 1, The Awakening by Marjorie Liu and Sana Takeda. So I've had my eye on this for a while. I finally went and I got it. I think the art style looks absolutely, it's just stunning. Like, ugh. But I love me a good steampunk book, and I don't know, I just find the premise super intriguing. So it's set in an alternate world of Art Deco beauty and steampunk horror. Monstrous tells the epic story of Makai Halfwolf, a teenage survival of a cataclysmic war between humans and the Arcanics? In the face of oppression and terrible danger, Meikai is both hunter and hunted, searching for answers about her mysterious past as those who seek to use her remains just one step behind. And all the while, the monster within her begins to awaken. Can't wait. Lastly, I have this stack of books that I purchased secondhand. The first book is Next by Lucille Clifton, who is also from my alma mater. In this short collection, it's about birth and reawakening, spirituality, sexuality, about the non-white experience, which I've already read this, actually. Beautifully done. I didn't realize this until afterwards, but it is signed. So that is super cool. I'll pretend my name is Jeff. Next, I got Toni Morrison, Playing in the Dark, Whiteness, and the Literary Imagination. I just started my journey through Toni Morrison's work, and this was actually referenced in one of my grad school readings about education and the whiteness of education. We're currently talking about, like, specifically civics in the ELA classroom, and this was mentioned in there a couple times, so I figured I might as well get my hands on it. And then I found it at a secondhand bookshop. I was like, it's fate. It's fate. So excited to dive into this. Next, I grabbed Alfred Lord Tennyson's selected poems. I don't even know why I picked this up. I have a couple Tennysons, and I think I don't know. Next, I got Susanna Clarke's collection of short stories, The Ladies of Grace Adieu, and Other Stories. I have never read a Susanna Clarke. I do want to read Piranesi. I'm not as intrigued to read Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, so maybe one day, but I figured I'd dive into some short stories first before I even decide to write that off. So this collection, this is the tagline at the top. Magic, madame, is like wine. If you are not used to it, it will make you drunk. Sorry. So anyway, Susanna Clarke returns with an enchanting collection brimming with all the ingredients of a good fairy tale. Petulant princesses, vengeful owls, ladies who pass their time in embroidering terrible fates, endless paths in deep, deep woods, and houses that never appear the same way twice. Sounds cool. Can't wait to dive into it. I also got a copy of Don Quixote by Cervantes. I hope that's how you pronounce it. It's a little bit of a chunker. Oh, it's like Bible pages, like super thin pages. That's okay. I will devote some time to this eventually. But Don Quixote, I heard it was humorous, and I don't really read many humorous classics, so it takes place in 16th century Spain. And it's like it's an immortal satire on an outdated chivalric code and a biting portrayal of an age in which nobility can be only a form of madness. That sounds hilarious. I love me a good satire. So this might be making it up my TBR. And then lastly, I got myself Woman in Fiction 2. I have the first one of this somewhere. Actually, it might be upstairs. Anyway, I have the first collection of this, and I didn't know there was a second. So when I saw this, I absolutely had to get it up. It has authors like Jean Rhys, Shirley Jackson. I needed this. I needed to add to my collection. Alright, so that's all for today. Let me know if you read any of these. If you're still here, please consider subscribing and giving this video a thumbs up. Until next time, bye!